implemented it into a route. Now it's implemented out. Some people still do it, etc. It's pretty interesting to see.
Looks like we're starting. Awesome.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, Mario Odyssey is the according to Nintendo, the third in their like 3D platformers. Like 3D open platformers. They put it in the same category as 64 and Sunshine. So it's very open worlds. Every moon is its own little kind of level, as it were, rather than each level being like these little its own things. You have this big open world with all these challenges to do. This is the Cap Kingdom, and there's no moons in Cap Kingdom yet. So there are 0 moons in the any percent route.
Yeah.
This is for some runners the hardest kingdom in the entire game.
Yeah.
There are little things all throughout this kingdom that you can bonk on, that you can like trip on. This bridge, for instance, if you jump too early, you'll clip into the bridge and just fall into the abyss. Rollin is the fastest movement, fastest forward movement in the game, and it's very difficult to control properly. For that instance, if these guys didn't stop rolling before hitting the water, they would have actually just bonked into that cloud platform, because they would have rolled over the edge.
Yeah, definitely.
So the main
Cap Kingdom.
Go ahead. Oh no, go ahead.
Sorry. So Cap Kingdom does serve as a tutorial, and as Zealous was saying, there are no moons yet. But once you've beaten the main storyline of the game, and we'll see at the very end, there's a cutscene where we kind of blow up the moon. Spoiler alert. Don't care about spoilers if you're watching a 90% run of a video game, anyways. But we blow up the moon, and then there's a ton of these like steel bricks, is what my friends and I called them during our casual playthrough, that you would see just in random spots in kingdoms. And when you come back, you can actually hit those with Cappy or Grandpa on them or whatnot, and then they will launch a ton of new moons into the kingdom. So you actually can only get around half of all the moons in the game for the first visit of each kingdom. The other half are unlocked just by challenges and things changing after you beat bosses and the main storyline.
Yeah, so that first boss is the simple version of the boss that we'll see in about an hour to 50 minutes, depending on how to run these runners have. That is an extremely simple boss. You just throw your hat at him 3 times, jump on his face, repeat. There's a little way to optimize that fight where you jump on his cap while he spins out, and it will kill that phase. But all in all, it's a pretty trivial fight. So this is the second kingdom, the Cascade Kingdom. This is the trailer kingdom, as it were. This has got a lot of really interesting tricks and sequence breaks. We're going to skip an entire section of this run.
Yeah, one of the 3 biggest tricks skips in the entire run for any percent, actually.
Yeah, it saves... You would probably say you skip like you skip a 2D section, you skip like capturing a bunch of things. You'll see it's pretty hilarious, actually. It really shows the openness of this game. In the first world, you just can already see that Nintendo kind of intentionally made this game a bit more open.
And so here we find the Odyssey. It's pretty beat up, and so we're gonna need to use power moons we're gonna collect to refuel our Odyssey so we can move on to the next kingdom. So that's how we're gonna be moving from kingdom to kingdom here. And so each kingdom has a required amount of power moons we need to collect before moving on to the next one, with the exception of a couple of boss fight only kingdoms. And so right there, as Zealous was saying, we kind of just push the dyno up and trigger the loading zone early. Definitely unintended, but yeah.
That trick looks hard, but that loading zone is literally underneath that platform as well. You can hit that pretty easily if you know what you're doing. You just have to do a cap. You don't get a cap bounce when you leave a capture, so you only get 1 cap dive. So that's a pretty important mechanic, is cap dives and cap bounces. When you throw out your cap, you can actually jump towards your cap by doing a dive. And the first time you do that after a jump, you get to bounce off your cap and do it again. And that's the amount of times. You only get to do it twice. If you come out of a capture, you only get to do a cap dive. So that's what we do there.
Yep. Since to get to that loading zone.
If you jump on the top of the chain chompikins, while he's spinning out, it'll actually just stop chain chompikins, rather than damage you. So you just have to get on top of him. You can do that by either using the mounds of dirt at the ends of each arena, or alternatively, you can just do a backflip, and you'll usually get the right height. So here we are. We have to get one more moon on top of the multi-moon here. So it's faster to just get this moon than any other moons. Once you beat the boss, then come back to the Odyssey.
Yep. So we've gotten all 5 moons we need in Cascade Kingdom. So the Odyssey is gonna fill up one of its sails. It's a bit longer in Cascade Kingdom because it's got to get all its color and fill out the ball or whatever, all the lore that you kind of skip through or just watch in awe when you're playing the game for the first time.
Yeah.
But all its full color and glory, and we're gonna be using this, and it's one sail here to the Sand Kingdom.
Yeah, it doesn't have much power, so basically we have to keep chasing Bowser's giant airship throughout the world, trying to get Princess Peach back. He stole Princess Peach and Tappy's sister Tiara. And that's pretty much the plot, is Bowser kidnapped Princess again. But this time he's collecting items from each kingdom so that he can do a wedding reception. And that's about it. each kingdom seems to have like, here he's getting a giant ring. Princess Peach.
Yeah, the ring binds them together. So I think it's pretty metal actually that he steals all these things and then just runs off to the moon. Like that's such a cool place to have a wedding if you really think about it.
Why now? The other question is, why does the moon have a chapel on it? Okay, so Sand Kingdom has a lot of movement. It's one of the major kingdoms, as I would call them.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Nintendo definitely put more effort in a few of the kingdoms, or at the very least, they definitely have a separation between major and minor kingdoms. There are times in the game where you have to split between a fork in the road, and those kingdoms are generally smaller than the major kingdoms in between them. The major kingdoms are Sand, Metro, Luncheon, and I think there was one more, but I forgot it. Seaside?
Bowser's,
yes. And Bowser's, which are like massive kingdoms. And then they all have they have over 80 moons, some of them. I want to say Bowser's is 65 or something. It's nuts.
Sand has 89, yeah.
Yeah, so because Sand has 89 moons, this place is gets rerouted once a day. It was getting rerouted 2 or 3 times a day when the state for game first came out.
Ooh. Yep. Bagajr, I'm still gonna mispronounce that the entire run. Looks to be a little bit ahead of MonadoPurge here. Gonna be skipping this 2D section here, breaking this box, and hopefully that bullet bill won't crash, but it looks like it has. The runners will try and not wait for the next cycle of bullet bill.
Looks like they probably aren't going with that strat. Like we said, there's a lot of viable strategies. Oh no, he's going back for the bullet bill now. So he is going to do this. You do want the bullet bill. It gives you some extra. It gives you this strategy. You can get the lone pillar.
It looks like Monado's doing the same strategy as well. Both just messed up the bullet bill manipulation there to keep it alive, but pretty hard.
So this is a lot of people's favorite moon. Oh no, he doesn't look at the. Oh, if you watch that moon, you actually send that sheep just launched in the air. It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, and so there's 3 sheep, and you need to bring them to this one guy who's totally lost, and you can just hit him off the void too. I did that in my casual playthrough. I just killed one of them. I think it's hilarious.
You will never ever see that moon in an 80% run. Okay, so we're seeing a small divergence of route here already. Going for under the ruins. versus going to Sphinx first. So both of these will kind of put you at the same spot, unless he just doesn't ever go to Sphinx. So I guess he's skipping Sphinx, which is a common thing of contention, because it is a pretty long moon.
So at this point in the route, he's behind. Must have missed something here. Must have gotten the bird early and bagajr didn't. But yeah, see, definitely variations in sand routes, as you can see. But
yeah,
this is one thing that's not a variation here. Monado's going for a skip. Sit, using that bullet bill to get up to this place early instead of going around under, doing some platforming. A lot faster, just...
Okay, that was a really cool but very risky strat he did there by rolling down to, because you move a lot faster when you're rolling, even if you're falling. Oh, he's not even collecting the money. Oh yeah, because he did Sphinx.
It's
so
Sphinx, yeah.
He doesn't need to collect extra money for the rest of the run.
And so, speaking of cash, we do need 200 coins throughout this run. Because in each kingdom there's a shop, and you can buy a power moon coins. It's a free power moon. It's like, yeah, take this, here you go. And so, in 2 kingdoms, it's actually one of the fastest moons to get. Up in a couple kingdoms here, and so we're going to need 100 there. And then, after Metro, it's going to be Snow Kingdom, and that's a bit later, so... Optionally, choose to go to Seaside Kingdom first, and then go to Snow Kingdom second, as that is one of the forks in the road. Don't choose to do the Sphinx route, or if they don't have enough coins by that time, but... All the runners do want to make sure that they have 100 coins going into Wooded Kingdom, because it's up there to get an extra moon.
So these runners are like a moon hand and apart right now, which is really close coming out of sand, and having different routes too, which really shows that how still fresh this game is. Like, the community is also really receptive to new routes. At the very least, they'll look into it. Because you never know. Anybody could find something for this game. Moonstip was found by just found because somebody was like, I think the moon physics are broken. I'm gonna try. And it was just found by a casual player.
One of the biggest wall clips in the game for Snow Kingdom. Not using any percent, but it's a huge time save in a world piece. Found by someone who accidentally roll canceled right next to a wall and just realized they clipped through it.
Yep.
and then it went into hours and hours of just testing, and then found out we can clip into a ton of walls.
So this is one of the minor, actually probably one of the fastest kingdoms, and one of the few ones where we are going to get a, one of the few ones where we're going to get a multi-moon. We actually don't fight many bosses in this run, because bosses are usually very slow compared to just getting 3 moons. But you'll see here, we're actually going to skip a large portion of platforming. And if you don't get the trick here, you lose a lot of time. Like, how much time do you think you lose missing this cheap trick?
Because if you miss the jump on the cheap, but you know you're like far out, and we'll see it coming up, and you guys will see what we're talking about. But if you don't get out of the cheap and you know you misaligned it, that's like a couple seconds. But if you get out of the cheap in time, then that's like easily 15-20 seconds of time lost.
And as we said before, these guys are like 30 seconds apart PB wise. So you're seeing they're gonna look up. So this is the skip here. You jump in, you do a wall jump. Normally you get on there after the first wall jump.
Yeah, sadly we see Baja. Ooh, really nice recovery strat there.
Yep.
You throw your cap and then you jump as soon as you get your cap back. It's a slightly higher jump than normal, so nice recovery there, but he did miss the cheap jump.
Now this boss is deceptively hard. So normally you have to hit his cap, jump on the cap to do like a fly, and then ground pound on his head while he's like confused. But you can actually just do back jumps with good timing and keep jumping on him. You basically keep him in a loop. But it is extremely difficult. This is probably one of the harder moons, honestly.
Yeah, one of the harder bosses, harder moons, definitely. Just a lot of bosses that we do go for, because the ones that we do have to go for, will have some cycle skips in them. Like that, the entire boss took what 30 seconds, 25 seconds, something like that
Oh,
for 3 moons.
so small thing. I see somebody in chat say, "How do they even practice boss fights?" There, a lot of people don't know, and this might help a lot of people who are practicing. You can go into data management in your menu. You actually save up to 4 states, and as long as you don't collect a moon, it won't resave you the state. So that's how people do it. They'll have like save states for the bosses, and then you just repeat the bosses over and over again.
I know what I do is I have a new Nintendo Switch user account just called like Odyssey Practice or something, and I have 5 save files there: one for Bazzers, one for Moon, one for Metro, one for Snow, one for Wooded, I think, or something like that. And so I just use those whenever I want to practice boss fights, and they're right there. And then so you can either just close the software once you've beaten the boss, just force close it from the menu, or you can just not collect the multi-moon, and then like that.
Wait,
Multiple ways.
this bunny is a stupid moon, but we have to get it because it's really fast. Just putting it out there, that bunny, man. Both runners are actually pretty much tied thanks to bunny RNG. Yeah, this is a modern video game with save states essentially, which makes practicing so nice.
Yeah, these runners are one text box apart. That's how close this race is right now.
Yeah, so there's the first. That bunny isn't RNG. Well, I'm bad, so it is. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
bunny,
yeah.
The bunny is based on your movement. It's a pretty annoying moon. So this is the back entrance. Completely intended back entrance, by the way. It's just like normally you would talk to a sphinx and answer a question and get past it. I didn't know you could talk to sphinxes for the entire game until I watched a speedrun. So I spent a really long time trying to get up that waterfall, assuming that was the intended way. Was not. But
Wait, so did you just see the sphinxes and then just not try and talk to them or something?
they looked like statues. I assumed that they were dormant until I did something.
That's so funny.
So
right here we do see a route difference. It's just different sequence of moons here. We'll see Baja go for this flooded pipeway secret area in a few moments, but
yeah, this is a really annoying moon. This is some people's like least favorite moon. Just the movement just doesn't feel good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really hard to not get hit in this room. Let's hit once. Commentator's curse. So I'll see some. Ooh, unfortunately gets hit by the poison there. Looks like Baja was able to do the Flutter Pipe by Moon without taking damage. Definitely nice because, as you guys may have noticed, when taking damage, each moon you collect will heal you. So it's very hard to die in this game just from damage, but it is a cutscene. In screen again, MonadoPurge. There's a 2.2 second cutscene if you need to get healed from a moon, and so that time.
So yeah, Wooded Kingdom. Are you a fan of this kingdom, or are you one of the people who are like, man, I wish we were still doing deep woods strats?
I have a really bad Wooded Kingdom split just because I can't do the movement in the pipeways. Ooh, Baja. Ooh.
Yeah, don't.
Baja, don't do it. Don't do it to us, Baja. Come on.
Oh!
No way, no way.
Jump. Oh, they both get it. Okay, that triple jump is so hard.
Oh my god.
They both went for it and they both got it.
It saved like 2 seconds. Why would you go for that in a race? Oh my god, they
Holy
both
crap.
did it. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely nutty.
The movement in this speedrun is some of the craziest stuff. So, interesting, you can actually skip the inside of here, but it's just not faster too, because there's like 3 moons in here that we get. Oh no, we get 2 moons in here, and that finishes the run.
There's 2 really fast ones though.
Yeah, they're 2 really fast ones.
And then the next one takes like 6 seconds after this moon. So
if you get, so this is actually a neat little step that they're gonna do here. They're gonna fully extend, and if you shake your controller, every capture has a special ability. This one extends a little higher and moves faster. So really interesting. But that was, wow, that movement to get out there.
I don't know why they both went for it. That was so crazy.
Oh no! Oh. Okay, so I don't know this guy's name. It's Mr. Puke. He's pretty easy too, because you can cycle him like we're seeing here. And we never fight Puke 2, so.
No, we do. It's in Luncheon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. We do fight Puke 2 again. I forgot. There was a while where people just collected all the moons.
Yeah.
There was a route that never fought a boss in Luncheon. He's so fast though that I kind of forget that he exists.
Yeah, a lot of the bosses are like, when do we fight this guy again? Took like 5 seconds. So, this game, I know here, but I was just thinking about it because couldn't remember the name of this boss. But this game has some of the best attention to detail I think I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
Video game ever.
They are literally apart right now.
Yeah, and so one of the reasons I brought that up is we're not going to see it much. I think they actually opened the map twice, Metro, but you can warp between checkpoints as a form of quick travel, which is just a really nice quality of life thing. And you can also use the map on casual playthroughs to buying hints from the hint toad in the game, or just looking at the scenery and the layout, or even reading about the kingdom on like the left and right sidebars. And that there's so much detail, like maps that they give you. It's crazy. Someone had to write out an entire guide map for Darker Side, and apparently, if anyone's fully played, talking about the Darker Side little building. Unfortunate death from Justin there.
Yeah, this is actually a somewhat common spot for runners to die, is get into Bowser here.
Not sure why, but people do try and take it fast, yeah.
So now, this is probably the... Also, this is one of the coolest Bowsers in the entire series. I think he beats the coolness of Galaxy Bowser. But...
I would definitely agree. His hair is so good.
Yes.
It's so good. Look at
also,
that.
you get to punch. You get to punch Bowser in this video game. Okay, so there's actually a trick here we should explain. What they're doing is they are throwing their cap out, holding it out while holding the other cap, basically waiting to capture it, and they get close to Bowser, and then they start punching him before he has a chance to jump out, and starts a mini phase, which skips a lot of time in this fight. There's a bit of RNG. It's just not as big of a deal in Bowser 1. It's a bigger deal in Bowser 2. Also, shout outs to Nintendo for only making us fight Bowser twice in the Any % run. Thanks, blessed Nintendo. They care about speedrunners again.
Kingdom in this entire run is gonna split these runners apart. It's gonna be Lost Kingdom.
Yeah,
Reason
Lost
for that-
Kingdom
Yeah, go ahead.
is right here. Oh yeah, the reason for that. Lost Kingdom has this trick. This is the spookiest trick, and bagajr just makes it look like it's any other cap jump. So normally in the regular game, you have to go through a sequence where Klepto the bird, if you've played other games, you kind of know who Klepto is, will steal Cappy. And oh!
Ooh, that's unfortunate. But
And so you have to. So we're basically dancing around a trigger. We're avoiding touching a cutscene trigger. Now, for a while, we thought that if you triggered this cutscene here, the second phase, that it would trigger the first phase. So the route in here is a lot worse. But eventually, we realized you can actually just, as long as you don't touch the first trigger.
yeah, so we're running up to this bird right here, as Baha just did, and that makes Klepto think that he has Cappy and is running around with him in his mouth right now, which obviously he doesn't. Pretty sure Baha
Also
still got his
makes
hat.
Cappy think that he's captured by Klepto. If you are in English text, it does in fact say, like, he has all of his lines for that. Also, an interesting mechanic in this game is that every time you take damage, it actually adds animation to the You Got a Moon. So damage actually loses you time. So any damage boost you take has to save you more time than you lose from the gain life animation.
It's about 2.2 seconds,
Yeah,
I think.
I think that sounds about right, because I remember seeing a video, somebody was like, oh guys, I think I found a damage boost, but he was practicing while the moon was captured, and somebody was like, does this save the time because of the damage? He's like, oh no, it doesn't. It was Nacho Yopwa.
Justin is leaving Lost Kingdom, repairing the Odyssey again with another cutscene, or Bahar, my bad.
So yeah, the last moon that we get is super spooky, because if you miss it, you die and go back to the start, and recovering from there is very dangerous because the cutscene triggers right around the bridge. So if you move too far forward, you will lose Cappy, and you have to get Cappy back to restart the Odyssey. Going for the recovery strat.
Nice. Yeah. It's hard to do that. You do have to not throw Cappy while collecting the moon, because as mentioned earlier, collecting moons does refresh your cap jump amount. So if you do cap jump to go to a moon, collect the moon, you can cap jump again out of that moon. But there's just so little room for error underneath that poison that it's really very precise.
Yeah, now Cappy has to be like back with you for that to work. Is one of the things. So you have to be careful about that. So there's a lot of tricks in this kingdom. This is Metro. This is probably the biggest kingdom in the game.
It's the longest time-wise, yeah.
Yeah, it's the longest in the run. I think it's just the biggest in general. Nintendo obviously really liked this kingdom. They showed it off as the demo kingdom. Or it was shown off at on show floors. I think the demo kingdom was sand.
And sand was the demo kingdom, yeah, but this was a lot of trailers and release info and stuff.
This was the one that was shown at a lot of game floors, at least in daytime. So this is actually split into two segments, night and day. Pretty much every kingdom has multiple phases in the any percent run, but we skip most of them, or we enter the next one and then leave the kingdom because we use the multi-moon to finish up the run. World Peace is a alternate any percent route, which the goal is to get every multi-moon, with the exception of the post-game multi-moons. And so that run sees a little bit more of the bosses. But coming right up here for bagajr is...
Terrifying jump number 2.
Oh my gosh, is it? So you have to throw your cap just before the camera starts moving. And then once you do that, you have to do a cap jump while the camera angle is changing. Which is about as scary as it sounds. Also, MonadoPurge doesn't do one of the skips, but does literally everything else perfectly. This has been a really beautiful lost and found from him so far. Also, Mecha Riddler is a pretty long and somewhat difficult boss to 2-cycle. There are ways to shorten him, which is what we're doing. We try to lead him to one corner and then make him shoot to the other one. So if we can reduce the amount of time that he moves, we save a lot of time.
Yeah, and so shoot the blue orbs from his body, and then he's got mad at us, as bosses do.
Yep.
Comes back up on this building, gonna shoot a couple fireballs out. It's very important that bagajr doesn't destroy all 5 of these fireballs, as it will make the boss cycle go a bit faster. So he did let one hit him. That was smart. There are all these pink orbs in time. We'll see if he can do it.
Oh, I think that's the new fireballs got in the way. He had it.
That's painful, yeah.
So a lot of time to be lost between a 2 and a 3 cycle.
It may or may not be tied after this. Or at least it puts Justin a lot closer. MonadoPurge, my bad. Using his Discord name instead. Shouldn't be doing that there.
So yeah, the hitbots for this boss and the tank controls are like kind of awful.
Terrible. I don't understand why Nintendo had the camera move with motion controls, but it's like it's not even a good motion controls. It's like one of the only unresponsive motion controls in the game. I don't like it that much.
You'd think that they would be like, hey, we have this like first-person shooter on this console. Oh, we get this 2 cycle MonadoPurge. So that's just save a little bit of time. Also, this boss is like really long unskippable animation, which adds a lot to it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It looks cool, but it's also really long, and we are speedrunners.
I'm Night and Day Metro, bagajr, and MonadoPurge in a few seconds are coming up on the daytime portion of Metro. Same scenery as Night, it's just looks a lot cleaner, got a lot more moons, everyone's happy now.
So here we see bagajr doing a cool trick. So what he's gonna do is he's gonna throw his tap out and then shake it like a mofo, because he needs that tap to home onto that line so he can go into the regular city. It is like really hard because it's a little bit time, and if you screw it up, you can lose a bit of time. Also, I've seen runners like enter that because they threw it too close. And the worst moon in the game is the one that MonadoPurge is on right now. This is by far the worst moon in the game, because that RC car is unresponsive. It is amazing how many unresponsive controls are in this kingdom. I don't know why.
Nice landing there on that bench for the moon by bagajr.
But it mates up. Don't worry, this kingdom mates up for it.
Easily makes up for it.
Like bench guy, you just launch to a guy on a bench and you sit with him. He needs a friend.
Both runners getting first try bench trends. Looking to be an amazing race here.
So you can actually land on that bench and like have a really long animation, because if Mario lands from a really high height, just flat, he will like sit there and be like, ow. And it sucks because you want to go fast, you don't want to sit there. But sometimes he'll just like sit on the bench just nice and calmly. So that's the best RNG. It's probably not RNG, there's probably a specific movement to it. But
yeah, there's a pretty specific hitbox there.
Also, bagajr doing another kind of freaky moon, which is the pier, because you can miss that pretty easily.
But then like that perception hits you and then you missed it and you gotta fall all the way back down and start again, and it's just like
yeah. Now, because again you refresh tap jumps, that's a lot of this kingdom is catching moons and then refreshing tap jumps. Also, like this moon is really cool because you do a lot of these like free fall dives to like grab a moon. Again, this kingdom has over 80 moons in it, so routing it is probably the funnest part of the game.
Terrible. The routing is awesome because everything just changes. Like you memorize a route, and then the next day it's like, oh yeah, half that route you just memorized it. We're gonna move it and then swap all the moons around, and then we're gonna do something different. You're like, well, that's cool, awesome. It saves like 2 seconds. That's
oh no, no, he got stuck. The people wouldn't let him through. So it's nice that we get to see little things like this area. So we do still get to see some of these side areas, even in the speedrun.
A lot of these throughout the game, just side areas and just doors that you can enter in. They'll always have one regular moon and one sort of hidden secret moon in each room. So if you are casually playing through, missing a moon, it's probably a secret somewhere.
Yep. That's kind of the general gist of a lot of the rooms in this game is that most rooms will have two moons, like a side moon and then another moon. So soon we're gonna get one of the best moons in the game. Not yet. Soon. Chat's favorite moon.
Easily, by far, best part of the run for Twitch.
Oh, did he just skip the bases? Is he doing what?
Justin! Justin!
Justin! No, he's not skipping the base. Don't do it, man.
I don't know.
No, he's doing it. Hey, hey everyone.
Tep. There you go.
OTEP, yay!
Moon though, is he just gonna get the drummer third or something?
I guess he gets the drummer last? Oh, interesting.
I don't know if it's faster, but you know.
I don't think it. I guess it can be. Huh. Oh no, he's still slightly behind. I think it's slower. I don't know what was up with that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think it would be slower by a little bit actually. Just because you start right next to
something we don't know. I mean, they both teleport you back into that room, so.
Yeah. 20 moons in Metro Kingdom that we need, most out of any other kingdom in the game, and so and fork in the road here between Seaside runners. I haven't been watching their coins counts, but if they do have 100 coins, they'll choose Snow first. If they don't, they'll choose Seaside. Looks like they'll both choose Seaside, as MonadoPurge didn't do Sphinx, and bagajr didn't get the chest on top of Jaxi Ruins, so. Us choosing Seaside over Snow, I mean, like, the half second it takes to scroll down input. You're just choosing one over the other in each kingdom. Still need to collect 10 moons each. Ooh, unfortunate there for bagajr, but doing a little bit of a hard jump here to get up to one of the hardest jumps in the game. And, you know, these runners just make it look easy. It's just intended way to get up there. You're supposed to use one of these squid. See in the last half of this run for a few seconds. And coming up on yet another moon here in Seaside that's supposed to be achieved with a squid, but you know we don't because we're edgy like that. Free running's cool.
Yeah, you're supposed to use one of the gushers, I think they're called.
Not a gusher. They're not like the candy. I know it's something like that, but I guarantee you it's not the candy name. I know. I think it's like Gushin or Gusher or something.
But Gushin sounds right. Also, this is a really fun moon. This is just so weird. You use the it's a pea flower, right? And
I'm not sure. I don't know.
You just get to run on water for some reason. It's really fun.
So, it makes you go faster, so like the joystick seems just more hyper responsive. So if your thumb slips or something, you're gonna have to do it again. Definitely has not happened to me on a PB pace run last week.
These runners
are literally 3 seconds apart.
Yeah, like these runners keep catching up, have different shots in one spot, catch up in another. This is gonna come down to Monka S himself, the robot man.
This is why runners do go to Seaside first over Snow, as that moon, A, it's on the route, and B, it also just gives a free like 35 coins going through that tunnel.
Yep.
So if you're missing any coins, go to Seaside.
Yeah, there's a lot of coins just kind of scattered throughout. There's a few rins that you do. This moon never made sense to me when I was watching it, and then I finally realized that you're supposed to hit the mounds of dirt.
You can use the shake controls with the Cheep Cheep actually to do a spin attack, so we don't have to ground pound those mounds of dirt here. But looks like MonadoPurge 5 coins short. You will be able to pick those up in snow. There are very few coins. The shot moon, but hopefully he'll be able to grab all those coins here.
There's trick. Faster to snow first. I don't think that going to a kingdom first or second is faster. So I guess whichever one's in the first spot is slightly faster. You don't need to even flip it into the Sphinx to do a Sphinx route. You can just answer the Sphinx question like bagajr did. I think the clip only saves like 10
it's
seconds.
6 seconds.
6 seconds, not even
first
10.
try.
Yeah, 6 seconds of done first try. Really, really not worth it in a race because it's really hard to do.
Does have a 1 to 2 frame window because it requires be in the wall not to have bonked yet, which for some reason is a 1 to 2 frame window. And then you need a roll cancel with really precise inputs of throwing your hat and jumping on like the same frame inside this wall, but you haven't bonked yet. I don't get it, but I think that's maybe the explain like on 5 wall clipping for dummies. Only for this moon, if I'm being honest. Cool, and I'm really sad that he doesn't show up in any other kingdoms in the 90% run.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad that we don't get to play Captain Toad's like game.
That was so fun in 3D World. Oh my god.
I know. I want to play more Captain Toad. Captain Toad's Adventure, like the actual game, underrated video game. Sadly, it's on the Wii U, so I can't even recommend buying it. This is the second moon that we purchased in the run, and the last purchased moon. This kingdom just has awful moons. It is a very long kingdom. The top part of the world is completely inaccessible until you do the bouncy mini game.
There's not a boss fight in this world. I mean, there is. It's like one of those side brutal boss fights where you just mini boss, I guess I should say. But the main like multi-moon in this world is you possess one of the. I don't know what they're called. I don't know what these people are called. Shiverians. You possess one of them with your hat, and then you join their annual like race. Everyone else's butt, and then he gives you a multi-moon because you're the best. It's pretty metal. To do that, we will need to unlock 4 rooms, and so that's super slow for any percent, so we just don't do that. Do 3 rooms and get the secrets in all 3 of them, and secret is 95% of rooms, if I had to take a guess, in this game do have 2 moons in them, 1 regular and 1 sort of secret. So it looks like since MonadoPurge did have to collect 10 extra coins from that box in snow before buying the moon, did set him back a few seconds in this race, but moon separating these runners right now. So bagajr is entering various rooms in Snow Kingdom as there are ice physics. And for those who play Mario games, ice physics are a pain in the ass. Because everything's slippery, you can't get a foothold anywhere. Many runners do just fall off because of ice physics and die. Hopefully we won't see that here.
Luckily, Goombas completely ignore ice physics for some reason.
You know, it's because they got strong feet. Years and years of training.
It's actually because they're flat-footed. It's a D&D term. Flat-footed creatures can't like slip because they don't have like heels and stuff.
Does that make sense from like
It
a
actually does.
standpoint?
That's why you wear like. That's why you wear snowshoes in the snow, so you don't fall in the snow and you don't trip on it. Because the weight's more evenly distributed.
That makes a lot of sense. Some
Science.
real world tips today from this run. Yep.
It's science.
Just told you video games wouldn't teach you anything. They were wrong. Or with you guys live with science lessons.
Now, I'm probably partially wrong. It could just be that they're wearing shoes. I don't know.
So this room that both runners collect their last moon in, at the top of it, we would fight. Actually, the same one we fought in Lake Kingdom. Guy with the yellow hats that we kind of destroyed in like 10 seconds, but harder in the Snow Kingdom because the floor is ice. That's it. Nothing else changes. It's just an ice floor, and so the fight is a pain in the ass. But do that, we can just get the secret moon, warp out, and leave. And it's the Luncheon Kingdom. Luncheon Kingdom here. Second most moons required out of any kingdom in the run. We need 18 to finish. And it's got a very different art style.
Yeah, it's very pastel-y, but it's a lot more interesting, I think, than just a regular lava world. So props to Nintendo for really figuring out a way to make lava world no lava worlds in this game, but actually still having one. Also, MonadoPurge trying to skip the wall, not having an easy time with it.
Definitely one of the harder jumps in this run, as there's a lot of height to gain, and these little pillars, decorative, do stick out from the wall a bit, so they can mess up your triple jumps and cap throws and whatnot.
And yeah, doing a cap throw there is tough.
So he's gonna need to take it a little bit slower here to get the required height. Yeah, looks like it is.
There we go. Oh, okay, we're there. Now we're gonna see some of the most inventive uses of damage boosting in this, because when you jump in the lava, you get hopped up a little bit. You also gain a lot of forward momentum from the burn, but you lose a lot of your control while doing it. So you'll see it a few places that they'll be using that.
Yeah, and so Luncheon is one of the kingdoms where the route is pretty solidified. As we've seen, both players did take the same route in Snow, East Side, same route in Metro, but Luncheon does have one minor difference. Two of the moons we do get on this route come from one of two.
Oh, I think this is gonna be a death.
Oh, he saves it. Scary for
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he had enough height.
Me neither. That was definitely scary,
But he also hasn't collected a moon yet, so he won't be getting that health until he does. And okay, so he got to the moon. So yeah, like we said earlier, if you take damage, you lose 2.2 seconds to the health animation. But death there would have been really bad. He would have been sent back to, I think, the Odyssey.
No, it would be the door, the secret door that he entered and exited.
Right, I remember.
And bad, obviously. Definitely don't
yeah.
want to death in runs, but wouldn't have been as punishing as some other deaths in other places. So that moon that Baja just got is harder than it looks, throwing that turnip into the soup.
Yeah, the throwing things in this game, physics is bad. And that's putting it nicely, because like it just kind of throws it. You don't really have much control over it.
So
also,
one of the two room
this
choices.
camera angle is awful, but he made it, so Props to him.
Not a forced camera angle either. I'm not sure why he.
Yeah, that wasn't one of those weird, like, they expect you to be in a different, like, capture so the camera's messed up. That was weird. But props on him for doing it. Essentially blind. So they're about 2 moons apart right now.
So 25-ish seconds. Which is definitely very close race.
A lot can ride on the Nets Kingdom, or the Nets 2 Kingdoms, I should say.
So as mentioned earlier, there are a couple of 1 rod difference here in Luncheon, and 2 of the moons we do get from a secret room in Luncheon, and it's really up to the runner's choice as to which secret room they want to choose. Passing up on the right here, looks like both runners opt to not take that room. It's got a lot of fork flicking and motion controls, and it comes up a bit later in the run, or in this kingdom I should say. Doesn't use any motion controls. Both rooms are the same speed when done optimally, so it's really just, again, up to the runner's choice as to what they'd like to do. Something that happens a lot with this game. So Baja is coming up to that secret room, and MonadoPurge is getting the 2nd story moon acquired here.
Yeah, this is the most amount of story in one kingdom that we do.
And unfortunately it is required, as does not spawn. The moons we will need will not spawn without collecting these story moons, and so we unfortunately have to do them.
Yep. It's this is probably one of the most locked down kingdoms when it comes to story progression. Which is weird because it's not like, I don't know. It's a weird world. Weird colors, but it's a fun kingdom. There are a lot of cool captures to play with. These fire dyes are fun.
Also, there are 2 multi-moons in this kingdom. There's one from a boss fight. It's coming up shortly, and I personally don't understand why it's a multi-moon. I don't know if you have any insights on this, on why Nintendo decided to make regular multi-moon.
I think multi-moons are like, they seem to be based on story progression. Like anytime you collect a grand moon, something changes in the world. So I think it's just to like, it's just a trigger for world phases. Which is convenient because it makes defining world peace significantly easier. I mean, it has a category, but, it has an achievement, but it's also a decent thing. Like, get all the grand moons. It's like, okay, easy. Oh yeah, sorry, if we ever say multi-moon and you see grand moon, it's just the difference between the Japanese translation and the English translation. Japanese calls them grand moons, probably in relation to Super Mario Galaxy's grand stars. And they call them multi-moons in English because multiple moons. Like, just being literal. Also, I still like that you become a, like, meat.
It's pretty hilarious. So, Baja Jr. pronounce it, not sure. But he is trying to travel to Bowser's.
This Grand Moon, I totally remember why this one's Grand Moon too. It's actually mainly because it, what's the word? When you do that, you fix their soup. So now they're happy because they have their soup back. Because
was that why?
Yeah, I remember why. I remember why that one specifically is Grand Moon. It's not just, yeah, that's why the world changes, because when you put the meat back in, when you ship the bird to put the meat back in, the kingdom has their soup back.
Oh yeah, because Bowser like stole the soup.
Stole most of that. Yeah, he's a jerk. Yeah, we should be naming. He just steals items from each kingdom. Steals a dress from the mermaids.
What does he steal from Wooded Kingdom?
Flowers. That's where he gets the flowers from.
I don't do that entire half of the kingdom though, but there's a big and everything, but super slow.
Oh man, is it slow? It's a long fight. If you ever wondered why World Peace is half an hour slower?
That's why. Speaking of long fights, coming up on Ruin Kingdom here, Dark Souls boss, Skyrim dragon, of that nature, but
Yeah, for some
it's
reason,
reality.
Nintendo's
It's
like, so we gave you real humans. Here's realist dragon. So now what's Bowser? He was supposed to be a dragon. Yeah, super cool boss.
very hard.
Oh.
They give you 4 hearts for 3 cycles.
Even more than that, you can actually get more hearts than that. I've seen runners get a 5th heart.
Really?
Yep. There's another one you can get somewhere in here.
Huh.
You can ground pound the ground and it spawns a heart.
Weird.
But yeah, so we abuse the fact that we have massive amounts of health, and you don't lose time getting health from a grand boon. So we damage boost so that we can get on him while he's shocked like this, and we can get into position to pull off these chains on his helmet and then do a quick ground pound. And that will cause the dragon to launch us up in the air. Now this kingdom is got only 4 moons. If, spoiler alert, you can actually get a moon under the bridge leading up to this boss. Commonly missed moon.
3, so even though it's very fast, we just don't have to go for it.
Yeah, because you just do not need it. The 124 moon requirement is not a hard requirement on the number of moons. It's specifically the minimum amount of moons in each kingdom that we go to. It just happens to equal that.
Yeah, so for example, we need 10 moons in snow and 8 moons in lake, so if we wanted to get only 9 moons in snow and skip a slow one and pick up the extra one in ruin, we wouldn't be able to do that, as we would need 10 moons in snow itself to advance.
So here's for a lot of people was the biggest twist in the game. They give this very I can't remember what the term is. It's samurai based, but there's a better term for it. It's very ancient Japanese, but I can't remember the exact term of what this era was called. But it is a very cool kingdom, lots of cool captures, and lots of movement. It's separated into a bunch of little courtyards that you move along to on chains. This is also the easiest boss in the game. I don't even know if he counts as a boss.
I mean, I don't know, because it's it is a story moon.
Yeah.
Just a moon to get it. It advances the plot by opening these doors and things, but I don't know if he's
Edo. Yep, that's it. Thank you. This is Edo era Japanese architecture.
Twitch chat coming in clutch.
Also, these birds are the best and funnest capture in the entire game.
I'm glad someone else thinks that. Everyone either loves them or hates them, and they're my favorite capture in the entire game.
They're so much fun.
It's so much fun. I was about to say that. I'm just poking into walls.
Yeah, there's a pretty famous moon in this kingdom too. It's got a lot of names, none that we will use on this broadcast. But we do use the bird to pick up a few extra moons. Also, all the captures, attacks, can grab moons. So the Pokio, as they call the birds, actually can grab a bunch of moons by just poking at them.
Yep. So I for one love Bowser's Kingdom.
Yes.
Because it's separated into all these courtyards, and it makes for a very linear yet different kingdom, as the first 3-ish minutes are all platforming.
Yep.
They're mini bosses, and the final 3 minutes is a huge boss.
It felt like 3D World. It felt like Super Mario 3D World. The reason why I say that is because Super Mario 3D World was larger 3D levels that were separated by the pipes. And so I always kind of akined it to that. in that you are still like in one open world, but it's separated into all these small little challenges. So. Yeah, this is another scary jump right here. Okay, he gets it. Bagajr, get in the one on top of there. So we do just need 2 extra moons to beat this world, beyond the story moons that we grab. And it doesn't show it on the top, so you just need to know that once you get here, you need to get those moons. It'll just tell you.
It's also very weird. Have to get the multi-moon at the end.
Yep.
Not the case in any other kingdom. As, like, for example, Sand Kingdom, we don't fight either of the bosses there. The one boss Baha Jr. is fighting right now, we would have seen her the first time in Sand Kingdom, but for some reason in Bowser's Kingdom, you know, it's a bigger deal because Peach is there. Like,
yeah.
I just want to be a tourist, go back to some kingdoms, move on. Like, can't control me.
Ooh, as you're losing time on Harriet.
Is that her name, Harriet? Really?
Yeah, it is.
Huh. I don't know the names.
The only name I know.
Green, blue, yellow.
It's Harriet. Harriet. What was the other? Cute guy, and oh no, I can't remember the name anymore. The emote of the American guy. That's what I call him.
I know this hat guy's called Topper.
Oh,
and we'll see Baha here.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So they're about
boss skips, yeah.
They're boss fight apart right now. Exactly.
Big closer race here.
Wait, one of them is called Rango? Are you serious? That sounds fake.
The yellow guy or the blue guy?
I assume the yellow guy.
I feel like it'd make more sense for the yellow guy to be called Rango than the blue guy.
Yeah. But here's the last part of Bowser's Kingdom. This part is very epic. They build it up to is essentially a larger version of everything that we've seen. Sort of the intended way is that you're supposed to use a Pokio throughout most of this. But if you're really good at cap jumps, because like you're actually never required to do a cap jump to beat this game. Funnily enough, even though we abuse the crap out of it, I think there's one post-game moon that requires it. Oh, I thought that
I thought it fell off. I mean, there's another, but that would have been bad, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a time loss. That is a common thing that happens is people like jump out of the Pokio there because it's just kind of a natural reaction.
Yeah, and they think the wall's over.
Yeah, everyone forgets the last section of the wall.
So, Baha here coming up on Mecha Brutal.
Okay, so this fight, so much chase. So you're supposed to use a Pokio to jump onto him by first to break him down and then jump onto him. But instead, we're going to jump onto him through a series of jumps because he's not an active hitbox on the legs. Okay, and so every time you hit him, he pushes you away, and then he does it a few times every time you try to jump on him. But eventually, he'll let you stand there. And while you're running, you can't do while he's running, you can't do anything, because if you jump here, he'll just leave you alone. Because you're not we're not playing Galaxy. You're not gravitatized to things. Oh, also, there's a lot of moments where if you bonk, you're not actually dead. Also, I didn't even know that part was safe.
Oh yeah, it's so scary. But you can actually stand on his head there. I don't know if I'll have enough height to get back though.
Oh
no!
Oh! And he's stuck in the second phase, so you can't do anything in this phase.
That's painful. Oh. So, Hopefully he'll be able to recover here quickly for the third phase, but he will have to wait for the Mecha Brutal to stop moving, shoot 3 bombs, then shoot a Pokio, and climb up extremely fast.
There is a way you can use a Pokio to climb up the vents if you time it right. The problem is that you have to wait for the RNG to spawn a Pokio. So here we go. So you can actually jump back onto Mecha Brutal. Yeah, this is essentially wizardry. I don't know who discovered that you could do this, but by goodness, that person's a genius.
Oh, and he missed the force
no.
cycle too. It's devastating. I think it was because he accidentally some height to come back. He head, which sticks a bit farther out than the rest of the body, and so it didn't give him enough distance. He's not gonna get back, or not.
Yeah. So the other mechanic is that the longer you spend, he does actually recognize when he's being stood on. So you'll see him flash, and if you wait too long, he'll like eject you from his body. So there's like, I think it's an intended quote unquote mechanic, because otherwise, why does your ground pound work? So Nintendo really meant it when they said you could do what you want. So that fight is really hard.
We got Baja in the Moon Kingdom. There's one. And I don't want to speak too soon, but he has this race in the bag, if not for mistakes.
Yeah, so Mecha Brutal's kind of the final boss. Barring, but if you're not watching his opponent and going for a really silly 2-second time save that could in fact lose him like 2 minutes, so probably won't go for it in a race. Although I've seen a few people.
And crunching some numbers a bit here. Baja, if he has a pretty good Moon Kingdom right now, and so that'll definitely be something awesome to see.
So this is Moon Skip. This is probably one of the first major skips found in this game.
Nice.
Basically what he did there, he did a very clean one. He was practicing this just before the run. One of the hardest skips in the game, and one of the first major ones that were discovered. You're supposed to go through this very long, probably like 5 to 7 minute like trials. It's like the end of the game, and you're like in this lava world. So I said that there's no lava world, but there kind of is inside the moon.
Yep. Normal gravity. There's like a couple boss fights, a ton of captures that we only see once. Takes like 5 minutes if done optimally. But
yep. And it requires the use of a lot of captures. It's very fun to do casually. Oh, and so that is a good way to lose a lot of time. Luckily, if the hat returns because you're too close to Bowser, it doesn't cause him to do like the jump phase. He just jumps another one time. It actually even resets parts of it, so it not too much of a time loss there.
this fight is very similar to the one in Cloud Kingdom, except there's a bit more purple hats that he's going to spawn. It's unskippable little attack phase.
Kept that P speed for a really long time there.
Did he get 2 flowers? Not sure.
Yeah, he's got all the way to the Sphinx. Oh, not damn Moonstep. Oh, but I mean, after that Mecha Brutal fight, I'd be a nervous wreck.
In a race situation too.
Oh no!
That's unfortunate. That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, and this is kind of one of those tricks that require like a lot of mentality. Like, if you screw it up, I mean, it's gonna feel bad every time, and it's gonna make you not think.
Just doesn't seem to be able to get this precision.
Yeah, like I said, like both these runners have 112s, which is like really, really good at this game.
Bob might have a 111 after this escape sequence here.
Yeah, so escape sequence takes about 2 minutes when done optimally. And so bagajr is actually currently on PB pace. So we didn't really want to say anything until after Bowser and after Moonskip because let's not jinx. MonadoPurge gets up and he's in the cathedral.
Nice triple jump from Baja, skipping all over that platforming.
So a few mechanics is when you shake your controller, Bowser can shoot fire, which works exactly like his slashes. Another thing is, here it is, last 2D section of the run. Is this the only one that we do now?
Yeah.
Oh good, he didn't go for 2D skip, I'm glad. Taking this very cautiously too. It's falling, so dying anywhere in the final platforming section sends you to the start of the platforming section. Taking it cautiously. I like it.
It's going to be able to get a 111. He'll finish with a low 112, but will be low enough to PB.
Yeah, so there's a lot of strats to this final part here, which is the honey. Yeah, this whole section is called Honey Loom Ridge. As you can see why. Got all these like yellow, comey looking things. So one of the strategies is to shoot fireballs to get through here, because the fireballs will damage you. So you need to hit these 5 times.
5 times, yeah.
Yeah. So to prevent the game from going into a very chaotic 4th stage for very long, we hit the first pillar a few times with a fireball so that we can basically hit it with one more fireball and just walk to the end of the stage.
Got a couple more fireballs to go. Gonna come up in the last section here.
So this gives you the safest route. Just you can see a bunch of the rocks just break away. Oh, and he's gonna miss the 111 by just a little bit. So time is on the escaping from Honey Loom Ridge, which is once we lose control after escaping here. So you shake, and once the prompt goes away, and that happens, then it's time. So 1:12:12 for bagajr. This timer. SRL may be different. I don't have it up.
37-second PB, but awesome time from Baja there. It's always nice to see racers PB and runners PB in races. You know, I don't know if it's just me, but in every single race,
we're seeing
no
it.
Way.
Yeah,
no way.
We got it.
Oh, there we go. Absolutely not.
You got 2D skip, boys. Okay, so that's
it saves like 2 seconds.
Dude, it's called 2D skip, doesn't skip the 2D section. It skips a portion of the 2D section. Again, if you die there, you lose minutes. But cool that he went for it now that the race is already over.
Yeah. I think every single race I've commentated, 4 or 5 of them, at least one runner has PB'd.
That's awesome. Yeah,
so
I mean,
if you're racing, hit me up.
This game is still very new, obviously. So lots of tricks are going to be discovered mid-race. So I really like the idea of a tournament for a brand new game, and the reason is because it's going to push this game even further than it would have been normally. It's going to keep people more and more interested and introduce more people. And if you want to learn how to run this, there's a Discord. Everybody is super friendly. This whole community is super friendly. If you don't have a capture card, doesn't matter. Just point a webcam at your thing. We don't care. We just want to see more people run this game.
No, this is the very first game I've ran, like, ever.
Yeah.
And I never thought that I'd, like, have a competitive time in a 3D Mario platformer, but just all the friendly people and the resources, like, there's a huge document that just details everything about routes and how to do skips and everything.
Yeah, there's a constantly updated document that'll keep you up to date. And 1:14:10 on the screen. What's his SRL time?
Yeah.
Oh,
check that. But it'll be pretty close to.
Yeah, so we'll see if either of them want to come in for an interview. I don't know how to pin people. I'm not in the thing. Well, there we go.
We're good.
Wow, yeah, that was really, really awesome.
Great race from both players. Got a little bit separated there with a couple phase skips on the mecha fight, but both players were on the mech fight at the same time. So
Bagajr said that had Bowser golden by 18 seconds. I didn't even point out that he lost time on the Bowser fight, so that was a really good kingdom.
nice, yeah. We'll see if either of them want to hop in for some post-race questions here. But once again, great race from both runners. You can definitely see the amount of hours they put into perfecting routes and movement and times and all that. Yeah, if anyone is interested in running this game, coming from someone who came a couple weeks ago, it's very easy to learn.
Yeah.
As practice, that's about it. Like you'll do a run.
This tournament will be going on all month. There is well over 100 participants, I think.
Yeah.
There are over 480 speedrunners for this game, or people who have speedrun the game, which is insane. And Spike Vegeta says this, I completely agree with him. I would recommend watching, if you want to learn this game, watch as many different people as you can. Just everybody's doing something a little different. There isn't one runner who has all the strats down perfectly. Even somebody who's running and learning and doing like a 120, you might see them do some trick because they don't know how to do it properly, and they just do it, and it's like, oh, you know what? That might be better. I mean, that's how we found some tricks in this game. Somebody accidentally ran into it.
Definitely. 735 current runners for the any percent category, which is...
Yeah, so I don't... Oh, hey, Justin.
Hello.
Your mic is muted.
We'll see if we can get that fixed here in a second.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Hola.
Congratulations on the sub 115. Still a great time.
Thanks.
What do you think of the run? Yeah.
Quite a lot of mistakes though. So. Yeah.
It happens. You still did a lot great. You guys were tied up until Lost Kingdom, I think. You were like a second apart for most of it. It was great.
And then
If I recall, we got tied again.
Yep.
Yep. You guys were around 10 seconds apart.
Yeah, until lunch.
Pickles, yeah. Launched into.
That triple jump though.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the harder jumps in the game. Hopefully, we got a couple more races, I'd assume. Was that your first bracket race? I'm not completely sure.
Yes, it is.
So,
There you go.
for those who don't know how this tournament is laid out, we have groups of 4. Each group of 4, everyone races each other in a round-robin type format, and then the top 2 racers from each bracket move on bracket stage. So,
How many
looks like that was the first race.
How many matches for bracket? Do you just face everyone once?
Yeah. Yeah, you face everyone once.
No, you face everyone once. It's Swiss. In bracket, it's I think best of 1 and then best of 3s for the later rounds. I think it's a round of. Basically, you take 2 people from each bracket, and that will create. So you just play it a single elimination. So.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Semifinals,
Play
finals
people down.
are best of 3. Yeah. So. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Still a ton more races to go, and it's happening all throughout this month for the group stage, and then the bracket will start up in January.
Yep.
Speaking of matches, on the same channel here, no need to switch to 2, 3, or 4. We got Mashy versus Spike Vegeta coming up.
Ooh.
6 minutes. 2 awesome runners, 2 awesome routers at that too. Spike Vegeta
Yeah,
does help
503 for sure.
category, yeah. Sad if you guys got the time. Will be joining us for an interview today, but Other than that, thank you guys for tuning in. Drop a follow from MonadoPurge and Baja Jr. They put in tons of hours into this game.
Yep.
Drop a follow. My co-commentator's Illness.
Thank you very much. And my commentator was Feinberg. Thank you for being here with me.
No problem. Definitely awesome.
So
Follow Speed Gaming if you haven't already. Coming in from the front page. Any new viewers?
were we on front page?
Here, but just
Oh.
I know that
We
they were
were.
on front page yesterday.
Sure, that's pretty lit.
If we were, I'm terrified, and thank you for not telling me. Well,
No.
before we start.
They were on front page yesterday, I think, for Grand Pooh Bear's race a couple days ago. There were like 4,500 viewers, but not today.
Yeah, Speed Gaming, you can also follow all 4 channels. There are 4 of them. There are other tournaments, like SM. I guess if you're here, you're probably interested in Super Mario 64, at least vaguely. And if you're not interested in Super Mario 64, go watch it and get interested.
It's a very nice thing to get interested in, yeah.
Because if there's one Speed Game that's better than this one, it's that one. So, thank you very much, everyone. We'll peace out from here, give the restreamer and crew, the behind-the-scenes crew like Mythical and Feasel and everyone else, we'll give them some time to, not worry about this.
Yep, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're out.
Yeah, thank you very much. I was Elness. And
I'm Monado.
And that was Monado, and our other racer who didn't join us was bagajr. Peace out.